Welcome to Listertainment, the channel with the most deceptive name in all of YouTube. Today we are back with another 10 fighters who showed great sportsmanship and compassion by holding back and not hitting their opponent after they were basically knocked out. In some cases, they even had to tell the referee to stop the fight because he was just not stepping in. It's the referee's job to protect the fighters from themselves and each other. But in these cases, the winner had to make that decision for himself. If you happen to enjoy this video, please give it a like so we can satisfy the like-loving slut that is the algorithm. Also, please subscribe and turn on those notifications. Let's get started. We start with this incredible act of sportsmanship done by Pajarat Pelia during his boxing match against Arkadiusz Wroblewski. Pajarat could have just gone after Wroblewski, not giving him any time to try and recover, like this fight, but instead he just stepped back, basically forcing the ref to call a timeout. Then he even helped him get his shoulder back in place after nobody was stepping in to do it.
Alles klar! Riesenrespekt an Pajarat!
After he recovered, Pajarat was done being the nice guy, since now his opponent was able to defend himself. So he just stepped up and knocked him out for the victory.
Pajarat bleibt geduldig. Hat den Knockout. Und der Kampf ist zu Ende.
Jon Fitch was making his debut in 2013 with a World Series of Fighting and was facing off against Josh Burkman. Fitch was the heavy favorite, but Burkman won the fight in only 41 seconds.
Whoa, he's stunned him down. Oh, he should have had him in the full guard. It's still my...
Just look at the referee here. He isn't even trying to get a better angle to see how Fitch is doing, and is not even touching him to see if he's still reacting. Burkman just felt Fitch go limp in his clutches, and he decided to let go before he caused serious damage to Fitch.
Pull it off. He's out. He's out. Oh!
Then Burkman gets up like a total badass, standing over poor unconscious Fitch, at which point the referee finally sees Fitch's head hit the ground and decides to call the fight. Fitch did later state that he didn't see anything wrong with the referee's actions, since he rarely ever gets choked out, even in practice with top level guys. Now we have a very difficult time calling this fighter compassionate, since at first Walt Ravens was hitting his opponent Bernardo Mikikshi in the back of the head, with the ref not saying anything about it. If you take a look at those black armbands, they were actually worn in remembrance of another fighter who had passed away recently in this promotion because of the injuries during a fight. But this referee didn't really care about that and didn't step in at all, even when Walt Ravens was basically begging him to stop the fight. Not only did Walt Ravens have to tell the referee to stop the fight, but Mikikshi himself raised his hand saying that he was basically done. Terrible sportsmanship followed by good sportsmanship. But overall, it was just a terrible job by the referee in this case. Now we look at this kickboxing fight where John Orchard was absolutely laying into his opponent who was not returning anything. Dude, this referee is freaking callous. This poor guy is not even trying to hit back anymore. He's just turtling up in the corner, showing with his actions that the fight needed to be stopped. But the ref just kept asking for more from Orchard. John at one point even looked at the ref and raised his hand like asking him, "What else do you want me to do? The fight is over." Even after the ref finally stepped in, he at first was going to count for the knockdown, but once he looked at this guy a little closer, he finally stopped it. Not sure who the fighters are in this Muay Thai fight, but the guy in orange shows great sportsmanship by not simply slamming this guy with a brutal kick after he fell down. The ref was on his way to stop it, but he was a little too far away and would have never gotten there if this guy decided to be an opportunistic nutcase. You wouldn't consider Cody Garbrandt to be a classy guy, but in this fight we can kind of see a somewhat sportsmanship act when he fought against Augusto Mendes.
Back up for Garbrandt, but he's added to all of it there as well. Justin Buchholz strike. Oh, down goes Mendes! Garbrandt.
Of course, you have to have one of the worst referees in UFC history in Mario Yamasaki kind of ruining this moment. Garbrandt was basically celebrating his victory, but since Yamasaki just stepped in the way but never called the fight, after it was obvious that Mendes was knocked out, Garbrandt had to jump in there to deliver more unnecessary blows in order to secure the victory. That was a pretty amazing combination. Also, why does Yamasaki always stop the fight so slowly? You see other referees jumping into the action to stop it, and this guy looks like a scared man trying to corral a chicken after his father yelled at him to be a man. Not like this ever happened to me. Sorry, Dad, your boy's a coward. In this fight, we have this guy delivering an amazing spinning kick to the body, but instead of blasting this guy into another dimension, he holds back. The ref was on his bike trying to catch him so he wouldn't deliver any more shots. But if this guy was somebody else, he could have delivered a couple more shots just for good measure. I like how he at first is unsure of how good his kick was, but then he sees him bending over in agony. So he makes a beeline to him, but he probably saw his face in excruciating pain, and he knew he had won. Now we get to see the MMA knockout of the year for 2010, when David Branch tried to pull guard against Gerald Harris. But Harris was just like, nah, let me try something else.
He's reaching in for it. He goes right to full guard there. Oh, he's out. He's out. It is all over.
Dude, that slam was vicious. He was pushing his head out with his elbow, which basically guaranteed his head would slam onto the ground. It was so strong that Harris bounced off the mat also. The amazing part was where he had his hammer fist ready to rain down, but he paused first to see that Branch was out, so he just held back and allowed Herb Dean to come in and call the fight. Who would have thought that we would get to see Mario Yamasaki's terrible work one more time? If you ever want to laugh, go see the comments from any compilation showing Yamasaki's terrible work, because they are freaking hilarious. This guy is tapping out as he is close to passing out, but it's the winner who has to look at Yamasaki and point to the hand that was tapping. This isn't the best fight to show sportsmanship because the fighter is pointing at the tap since he wants to win the fight. But it's just amazing how you can miss such an obvious tap and one of the fighters has to tell you that it's over. And we end the video with another completely blind referee in this fight between Murad Akakishia and Murad Akakishia. So once again, we have the tap happening right in front of the ref's eyes, who is just looking at Akakishia's face. Kazgan continues the choke because he needs to secure the victory, but has to be the one to call the fight. As soon as he feels that Akakishia has gone limp, he lets go, and that's when the ref finally realizes that it's his job to stop the fight. And of course, his team comes in wanting to rip the referee's head off. I have never felt so much adrenaline that I lose control, but I feel like that's what happens to all the fighters once you're in a fight. So to have the ability to control yourself and not beat your opponent senseless after it's clearly over is pretty nice to see. And that's why great sportsmanship videos are so popular. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.